So there's been a bit of drama with the free-to-play release of Dark and Darker, resulting in some less than savory reviews of the game on Steam, and as a result, the game is currently sitting at about a 40% positive rating. The majority of these reviews aren't reviewing the actual gameplay and is more just criticisms for the developer and for the free-to-play aspect of the game. Before we get into why I think that the large majority of these reviews that are being left are unjust, let me first tell you about my time in Dark and Darker. I have over 1,000 hours in the game and have been playing since the last days of playtest 2. I have been accepted as a troubadour, which means I've applied to be a content creator for Dark and Darker after making several YouTube videos. I'm not paid for my opinion of the game and am not monetized on YouTube. I make videos for my own enjoyment because I enjoy the game. So I would just like to take this time to clear up some misconceptions about the free-to-play version because I've seen a lot of these in the reviews and they're just not true. Number 1. Normals will not allow higher rarities than common for anyone, which means that everyone that plays normals either has to sell or stash the loot that they extract. This sounds like a limitation, but there is a large percentage of full game owners that only play normals because it's the more fun and balanced game mode. It prevents you from being absolutely rolled over by overgeared, overexperienced players such as myself the minute you step foot out of your spawn room. Previous versions of normals allowed players to bring up to rare items into a game, which led to normals becoming high roller light. 2. The game is being marketed as a free to play. I agree that the more appropriate term should have been free to try. You can experience all maps, all team sizes, and all bosses. The only thing you're missing out on is High Roller, which has 100 gold buy-in, requires a level 20 character, has more difficult PvE with mobs that move faster, hit harder, have more health, and have more advanced attack patterns, as well as uncapped gear restriction on PvP. Number 3, this game has been released as a paid game to a player base of about 20,000. The simplest way to allow these players to enjoy the game on Steam with their friends was to make it free to play. The players that have already purchased the game on an independent launcher shouldn't be forced to purchase the game again in order to play with their friends on Steam. Number 4, Dark and Darker is somehow pay to win. I see that players are saying that the game is pay to win because they're under the impression that paid players can bring higher rarities into normals game, and that's just not the case. If you take a look at Iron Mace's official website, these developers are very anti-pay to win. Iron Mace was formed in response to the pay to win tactics from games developed in Korea and marketed across the globe. So what exactly is included in free to play? Well, the player has full access to normals on one character, which is the rub for many players that don't fully understand the gameplay loop and think that they would have full access to every part of the game for free. I believe that you should have access to more than one character slot, which will likely happen in the future due to player feedback. A player misconception I see that you're somehow missing out on a large chunk of the game, which in reality, normal trios is currently the most fun and balanced portion of the game, with the step up in the high roller being a large difficulty jump in both PvE and PvP encounters. And to be honest, it was implemented this way for a reason. The reason is, just like any other full loot PvPvE extraction game, there's a large cheater problem. So this restriction was put into place to combat cheaters doing real money transactions or real money trading by restricting them from trade and high rollers. So they restricted the free-to-play accounts to not have access to high roller or trade so that a cheater can't profit from selling gear for real life money. So I think another big issue has stemmed from a bit of a language barrier. The developers of Dark and Darker are Korean and as such do not fully understand or speak English. They have around, from what I understand, 2 English understanding speaking devs on their team of about 30 to 40 members. So they chose the wrong words due to limitations of their understanding of languages other than their own. They have recently hired an English-speaking streamer and YouTuber by the name of Soma on YouTube as a marketing expert for their company, as he has previously worked for Twitch in the past. So hopefully the communication with their player base gets better and situations like this will not happen at all, or at least happen less frequently. So, if you are one of these free-to-play players, I hope that you do understand that you have full access to the game other than high roller and trading on one character. I think that a lot of free-to-play players are choosing the wrong starting character for their skill level. I'm seeing a lot of dead wizards and rogues. I'll be talking about that in another video. I am certain that the developers actually had the best of intentions for the launch of free-to-play, and it probably should have been marketed as free-to-try or play for free instead. I believe that they didn't mean for it to be interpreted as a scummy or scammy business tactic, and this restriction was indeed implemented to expose new players to the game because they knew that these same new players would get absolutely destroyed by the first mob that they encountered in High Roller if they had access to it. There's no way that in your limited playtimes that you were able to experience all the game has to offer, with Inferno and Ice Abyss and multiple bosses across all maps. The majority of the reviews that I have seen are from people who have played a few games and haven't experienced a fraction of what the game has to offer, even in normals with free-to-play. So in conclusion, there is some legitimate criticism, but I think that a simple mistake is being blown way out of proportion. So this situation has actually been covered by at least 3 other YouTubers, and I'm going to leave a link in the description below to their videos and their channels. One Peg, Solomon, and The Lore, shout out to you guys for making this video before I could get it out. For sure, I wanted to try to get ahead of some of this negative feedback that's creating this negative feedback loop, and just basically people were leaving negative reviews because they're seeing negative reviews being left. It's starting to have an uptick in positive lately, but like right now is the best time ever if you're going to leave a positive review for this game, to leave a positive review. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Definitely take a look at the 3 videos that I'm going to link in the description to get a better, complete understanding of the situation. I might not have made myself absolutely abundantly clear. I think all in all, Iron Mace is getting thrown under the bus for the lack of understanding of the English language and the difference between free-to-play and free trial. We'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.